Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to this breakfast session of the FinTech and Open Banking Showcase. Really glad that you've joined us. My name is Daniell. I'll be facilitating this session today. I'm really excited about the lineup of speakers that we've got in this session. So just a few opening remarks before we get into it. First of all, the intent of this session. So the intent is to showcase some of the amazing innovation that's happening right here in Aotearoa. And there's a particular focus on open banking enabled products this year. And the reason is that we have open banking regulation that becomes operational in December this year. And so it's a really timely moment to talk about open banking and show what's possible. But of course, open banking is quite intangible and hard to explain. So the idea with this session is that we're going to show what open banking is at the product layer. So we're going to show how it comes to life for consumers. So the format of the session is that we have 8 presenters and each will come up and give a 5-minute showcase of a product, and then there'll be time for some really quick Q&A with that speaker before they come down. So please, if you do have questions, feel free to submit them via the conference app, and that'll be the opportunity to get those questions in before the speaker finishes up. All right, now it's time to get started. So first up, we have Prosaic. So Prosaic is a cash book for accountants and bookkeepers, and it's powered by open banking and AI. So come on up, Nick Houldsworth, who's here to share more.
All right. Hi, everyone. Nick Houldsworth. I'm going to set a timer here because this is rapid fire, and you've got 8 of these to get through. I'm going to show you our AI accounting software for accountants, cash coding for accountants and bookkeepers. Let me set the scene a little bit. We're really excited about the future of financial services. Every 10 to 15 years, we see this major shift in platforms that creates a whole lot of opportunity to build fascinating new products. Accounting software has exactly followed this trend. It went from books into spreadsheets. Spreadsheet was the first super app, in case those who remember it. It went from spreadsheet into desktop apps and went from desktop apps into the cloud. And we think we're at the beginning of a new wave of open data and AI that creates a whole lot of innovation. That lets you not just digitize existing workflows, but completely reimagine them. So we hear challenges with current cloud accounting that it hasn't fully delivered on the promise of automation. A lot of the time it was the desktop workflow that just went into the cloud, but the underlying data structure and the capability doesn't allow you to fully automate some of those workflows. It also assumes that people actually like to do accounting. Not many people actually like to do accounting and bookkeeping, except for accountants and bookkeepers, because it's their job. And so a lot of people, I think, given the choice, would rather somebody just did it for them. We find ourselves instead paying for software, doing our own GST returns, and then still paying someone at the end of the year to fix up all the mistakes that we make. And so we think that there's a better way. What if your accountant or your bookkeeper could simply do your tax without charging you for software? Had everything they needed to complete GST or year-end without having to send you a long list of questions and asking for information. It could actually help you find deductions or manage cash flow. And we're excited by open banking because we believe that secure real-time access to all of your personal financial activity and business and personal allows them to do this in a way that they haven't before. It offers integrated and seamless financial services, and AI provides analysis and automation at a scale we've never really seen before, and we're only just starting to scratch the surface of that. So our product is an AI-native general ledger, which is designed for accountants and bookkeepers. We're intentionally building it for accountants and bookkeepers. We're keeping it fast weight, it's cash-based, it's built for open banking, it's built for a connected world through APIs. It's intelligent and it semi-automates bank reconciliation, but we're putting professionals in the driving seat. We're not letting a plumber code millions of transactions automatically. We're letting accountants and bookkeepers so they know when to step in and make corrections. And we're really simplifying the client experience, which allows us to keep the fees really low to the accountant from just $6 per month per client. Let's take a quick look. So inviting your clients is straightforward. With our partner Akahu and through open banking, onboarding is really as simple as sending a client invite, asking them to log in, connect their bank accounts, and confirm which bank accounts are which and let their accountant know. We're quite excited by the potential for open banking to provide KYC, more document information, really streamlining that sort of financial advisor onboarding flow. The real power of the product is coding transactions, and so we've architected it so you can code multiple clients and multiple bank accounts at the same time. The data is structured so all of your Spark transactions are already pre-enhanced, and you can simply grab them all and code them to one category at the same time. We think the real power, though, is when AI starts to work behind the scenes, guessing where a certain transaction should code to, and then starting to learn based on memory. And then even analyzing transactions overnight as they come through, such as bringing in a group of transactions that have been pulled from Akahu and saying, look, these are the most common ones, why don't you reconcile these first and just take my suggestions? Or suggesting your next action. You can also provide information where sometimes you don't know what a bank transaction is, and it can start to look it up and say, look, here's their website, here's what it commonly gets coded to, maybe this is a recommended strategy. Or you can even start to talk with the agent as well and ask it questions like, can you go and find transactions that might be entertainment? Because I need to ask my clients for receipts for those, otherwise we're not going to be able to claim them. Or even just say, look, find me other transactions that might need receipts. And it will have the intelligence to know, based on tax law, what transactions typically might need receipts, and go away and do that for you behind the scenes. All of which enables an accountant or bookkeeper to really quickly power through a set of transactions for a financial period. So we can prepare a GST return, we can simplify the client experience and simply let the accountant ask questions of particular transactions that they need information on. And all you need to do as a client on the receiving end of that is review, respond to any queries, and then approve, which creates that really sort of seamless workflow as if it's just happening behind the scenes for you. That's our product. We're really excited. There's probably a few of you in this room who've got accountants or bookkeepers. Feel free to send them a link to our website if that's the kind of experience and price point you'd like. And we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Nick. Just got a couple of questions here. So why does a business choose to use Prosaic instead of Xero or MYOB?
Well, really, it's the accountant or bookkeeper that would choose to use it. Oftentimes, the business isn't really using Xero. If you are a larger business and you have employees and it's more complicated, cloud accounting software is fantastic for that. It's really advanced. But where the accountant simply needs financial data, needs to code and prepare it and do a year-end return, such as a rental property, a trust, maybe a small sole trader that doesn't have a business with employees, that's an area that we can really help by offering a really low price point and a really great experience.
Awesome. Thank you very much,
Lovely.
Nick.
Thanks for listening.
All right, so next up we have Indi. So Indi is a new home loan provider in New Zealand. They're at the frontier of how quickly they can approve a home loan application, and we have co-founder Anand Ranchord here to share more. Welcome, Anand.
Thanks, Josh. So look, quick show of hands, who here's got a mortgage? Keep your hands up if you'd like to save on your mortgage. Cool. Look, pretty universal truth, right? And that's why we're built Indi. We want to offer Kiwis a fairer and a better mortgage. Quick summary, just in context in terms of what we do. Our differentiation is really based on two things. A better mortgage, more flexibility, low rates, and a simplified experience, as Josh said, and I'll take you through both parts of that. Why is it important that we have flexible payments? Look, given the audience, we're at the FSC conference, I'm sure you're the boss of your mortgage and you've got your strategies down pat. But at the end of the day, saving money on your mortgage comes down to sort of two key things, really. A low rate and making extra payments. Doesn't matter which form that comes in, whether you do that through an offset or some other clever strategies, but ultimately you can just boil it down to those two things. The challenge today, of course, is that in New Zealand, floating rate mortgages in particular come at a cost and a premium. And so if you want that flexibility, there's a big cost that you pay. Our aim is to take away that trade-off for you, so you can have great rates, great flexibility, and get ahead on your mortgage. One of the interesting things, just in terms of context, is most Kiwis would say, well, that's great, but I've always been a fixer. If you look at Australia, what this graph shows is in the green bars is, over that period, is it's actually what proportion of people float. And if you could take that time series back over a long time, and the reality is that Australia market, that's very similar otherwise to New Zealand, the majority of folk go floating. Why is that? There isn't that same trade-off that we have in New Zealand where floating rate mortgages are priced at such a premium. And so the ability to get ahead makes a big difference when you can just choose floating and you don't have this trade-off of where I've got to have only a little bit because I'm paying quite a lot more on my rate versus fixed to get the best rate. We take that trade-off away with Indi. So look, that's enough around the sort of the core product piece. Now to the bit that you're probably most interested in, the experience. So Like Nick showed before, we use Akahu in terms of creating the open bank link, using the open banking rails to link your bank accounts to make our processes smarter. And our application process captures the usual information that you need. You're going to declare some expenses, you're going to declare your income. You can see in the example here that I'm capturing and I'm declaring my income. The example here shows that I'm declaring it as $125,000 after tax. I appreciate it's small. And then we need to go and verify that. And that's the smarts that we get when we connect the bank accounts. So then we go and link the bank accounts. And rather than you've seen that through, I'm just going to play you a little video of what happens sort of next once you've kind of gone through that process. You've entered your income and your expenses. So here, and if I just pause it for a moment, you can see that having analysed the accounts, we can see that actually the observable and the verifiable income doesn't match up. It's only 110,000, not 125,000 like I declared. Now, normally this would kick off a process of either I've got to supply documents as a customer and there's a bit of back and forth, and that just adds time to the process. But we can take that all out with the use of open banking and some smart technology. So this is what it looks like for an Indi customer. They get to ask, we automatically generate those questions for them, having analysed it, and give them some pre-canned responses. They can submit that through, they review the rest of the application and carry on. If there's any other things around the income, on the expenses side, etc., or any other clarifications, we use that same kind of approach where we analyse it, plate up the questions and the answers, and they can submit that. They'll submit that through, and within minutes they can be approved, and it's as simple as that. Not every deal will get approved in an automated fashion, but actually lots of them will. And that's the beauty of using the smarts of the Akahu and the open banking rails and the technology that we've built. So if anyone's interested in getting a better mortgage and a better experience, please come and see me afterwards.
Awesome, Anand. A couple of questions here. So are there any minimum equity requirements?
Yep, for us that's 20% equity, but that's true for both owner-occupiers and for investors.
Got it. And are there any other costs when refinancing with Indi?
No, in fact, actually one of the things I didn't touch on is that if you're refinancing, we cover all the lawyers' costs. That happens online on the platform, and that's built in.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Alrighty, we now have Westpac. You all know Westpac, but what is new and interesting here is that they've recently released some functionality relating to transaction enrichment within their everyday banking offering. And Beck Sweeney has been leading this work and is here to share more. Welcome, Beck.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm just going to get straight into it because we have 5 minutes. So this is what our transactions looked like before. So everyone in here is a consumer, right? I am too. You look at that, and what does AMZN MTK mean? Doesn't mean a lot to a lot of customers. It also has just got like a date stamp. It's pretty basic. And we, like all true product nerds, went, there's some problems in that. So there's a customer problem clearly, which is there's a real lack of clarity. Customers need to be able to recognise information in their transactions quickly. We've got a heightened awareness of fraud, but even just the basics of, did I do that? When did I do that? When did I pay $20 the other week? And they want to be able to do that clarity of transaction checking at any time of the day. You want to do it in your app. You don't want to have to call up during business hours to a lovely customer-friendly service person. And equally, that then creates a business problem for us too, right? So we've got then customers calling in droves to our contact centres, to our operations teams, simply, not for the complex needs, not for the things we want to actually talk to them about, not the things that they want to talk to us about. They're just wanting to check, was that transaction done in Amazon Marketplace or was it not? Did I do it? What day, what time was that? Did I do it in the middle of the night? I don't know if that was me. So those problems in true product nerd fashion goes, well, there's got to be a solution there, right? And us as a bank to do that on our own is really complex. There's a lot of kind of cryptic raw data that needs to be kind of enriched and built up for it to be in the hands of our customers. And this is where Akahu Genie comes in. It is us partnering with open banking partners. It's using those APIs and servicing our customers without us having to necessarily do the big heavy lifting, but it's about integrating. So the after version, a few weeks ago, a number of weeks ago, we launched our new enriched transaction details. What this does is it puts it into plain language. The merchant's name is up there. These are really simple things, and I think one of the things I just want to call out, and just go with me here for a second, I look after a space that says innovation, and innovation gets talked about an awful lot. And innovation in its very simplest form is, how can we put something new out there to solve a problem? And this is what this is. There's a problem here on two sides, and we can put this out. It gives information to the customers, like, when did it happen? What type of card did it happen on? You got a number of cards, which card did it happen on? It's got maps there for customers. These are the visual elements, the cognitive shortcuts for customers, particularly on card present transactions, super, super important. And we put some new features in. So our UI teams did an awful lot of work, a lot of testing around scroll length. Where should information appear? Can I get some help with that transaction? So maybe you click on that and then it gives you some extra output. We've got some more, so then when you double click into it, more information, more enrichment. So for those customers that really want to check something out, let's give that. And we've got some more stuff coming, and maybe I can if we've got 30 seconds at the end, we can talk about it. But a whole lot of work, a lot of screens, but simply it means we get to results like this. We went a month in, and we had more than 500,000 customers doing that double click. So it's being used, it's actively being used, which is pretty good, because that problem to be solved had a solution and customers are using it. So that's awesome. And then the other thing is, from that business problem perspective, we've seen, if you look at the month-on-month versus the prior comparable period, nearly a 15% reduction in those transaction inquiries coming into our call centres, which is massive. But I want to be really clear with the team here in the room is what that also did was meant that customers were going, hey, I'm seeing some new information now, I want to talk about disputes. So we've seen calls on the other side. But those are the conversations we actually want to have with our customers. Those are the kind of things that we can have our really great service people helping our customers with. It's helping our customers spot anomalies. So that's actually created an opportunity for us. So there's a new problem there to be solved, which is how can we put some new digital functionality in on disputes management, so duplicate disputes, all of those things. So the team are working at rapid pace to put those things into place. And then, as I said, there's a whole bunch of user experience uplift that we've already done, but more to come. So logos, things like that, where that's what customers, when we're doing the research, customers want this, again, cognitive shortcut. Can I just quickly see that merchant logo? And again, Akahu can provide us that. So I'm happy to chat to anyone who wants to know a bit more about this afterwards, or even just kind of what Westpac's thinking in the next few drops. But that's me. Yeah.
Thank you, Beck. Couple of questions here. So it looks like card transactions are enriched in that example. Are other transaction types enrichable?
Yeah, so the drop that we just did was card transactions, so card present, card not present, and obviously that's a bulk of the transactions that go through our system. But we have another drop, and I'm hesitant to give firm dates, but in a few weeks' time, our tech colleagues, so I don't want to put them on the line, but in a few weeks' time, we're looking at those other transactions where there's a merchant on the other end. So if you think about bill payments, if you think about direct debits, so that'll be in the next drop with the new refreshed logos and user experience and stuff. It will also be to expand those transactions. More enrichment, more customers getting visibility, yeah.
Got it. Thank you very much, Beck.
No worries. Thank you.
Next up, we've got SortMe. So SortMe is a smart data platform leveraging real-time data to surface opportunities for financial advisors, and we have founder Carl Thompson here to share more. Welcome, Carl.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, thanks everyone for coming along. Thanks, Josh, for inviting us. I'm Carl, I'm the CEO and co-founder here at SortMe, and today I wanted to talk to you about how AI and open banking is changing the financial services industry. So we are a personal financial management app that helps users be better with money, which gives us enduring data for clients and users, and we surface engagement opportunities for financial advisors. So super interesting. So yeah, the industry's changing a lot with this new technology, but don't take my word for it. If I turn on my remote, let's ask ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, we're a financial advisory practice in New Zealand. What is the biggest threat to our business in the coming years? Now, it comes back with a whole list of things, but the two big points I want to pull out here is it's saying that in the coming years, it's a combination of technological disruption, regulatory changes, a shift in consumer behavior, microeconomic uncertainty. And it gives us this bit of a summary. It says, to protect and grow your business, and I think this is really important for not just financial services, but anyone across the board with the threat of AI and so forth, is to protect and grow your business, you should leverage technology without losing human touch. I think that's really, really important as we get more and more AI built in, streamlining processes of clients and so forth, being able to do things by themselves. I think what we'll find is that people want a human touch. People want a relationship. The relationship's going to be more important than ever before. Stay ahead of compliance through proactive risk management. Evolve your value proposition to resonate with a broader audience, and embrace client education and engagement as a differentiator. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because SortMe actually manages to solve a lot of these issues, and I'm going to show that to you in a sec. So with SortMe, again, we're a personal financial management app. We use Akahu to pull together the user's entire financial self. 80% of people are not with one bank. So we pull together all your bank accounts, all your properties, your crypto, all your assets and liabilities into one place so you can track everything in real time. SortMe is not for the 20% daily distressed of people that need to budget. What we find is that it's the 28 to 48-year-olds. 60% of our users have at least one house. And the main reason is people want financial clarity. They don't know where their money's going. They don't know where their net worth is. So this is what SortMe solves on the top surface. So how we work with financial services, we obviously pull together all financial data into one place. We analyze that data, automatically categorize transactions. We give the user the ability to add in anything that's not available through those APIs. Things like personal car loans, other debts and liabilities and assets as well, like property that can't be connected, crypto, things like that. So it's a whole financial self in one place. We then use that information, we go through it, and we surface engagement opportunities for financial advisors. We can tell you when a client's mortgage is up for refinancing. We can tell you if a client is now in a position where you should probably have a talk to them about life insurance, or if they're in an underperforming KiwiSaver. So we like to surface these both to the advisor and the client, trying to get the client to be proactive in saying, yes, I want a free KiwiSaver performance review. And so they'll contact their financial advisor and go through that process. So it's really now about being proactive with customers because we have real-time enduring data. We can be proactive instead of being reactive because the current industry is completely reactive. You await for a lead to come in or a client to call you to say, hey, I need this now. Most of the time, clients don't know what they need. They don't even know the breadth of services that a financial advisor actually provides. So with SortMe, enduring data, we can be proactive. And we get all that information into the advisor portal, where you get a full real-time scope of where the client's at, all their information, where their money's going, all their assets and liabilities, what insurances they have, everything. We've helped over about 12,000 people through the system so far, and we're going to hear from a couple of them. This is Hannah. She is a user of ours, and she says, for the first time, I could see everything like a bird's eye view of my financial position. No scraps of paper, no countless tabs, no calculating or making mistakes. It was all there. SortMe helped me completely reframe my financial goals. Here's Naran from Float Mortgages, who says, SortMe has completely transformed the client experience. It's given our customers real-time granular visibility of their finances without forcing them into a penny-pinching mindset. We're not about cutting back just to save a few dollars. We're about helping clients play big with purpose. SortMe lets us track net worth and goals live, giving both advisors and customers the tools to make smarter, faster decisions. It's become a critical part of our advisory process, bridging insight and action like never before. So, if you'd like to talk more about how real-time data can transform your practice, increase the customer experience, and increase the bottom line, let's talk.
Thank you, Carl. Just got one question here. So it sounds like the value to the advisor is clear from those opportunities. On the client side, what features are you seeing them using?
Yeah, interesting. So it's all around, what we're finding is that clients are signing up because they want clarity. They feel out of control, and the out of control comes from the fact that every financial information is dispersed across so many different institutions. You've got Sharesies, you've got your Booster, you've got, Kernel, you've got different transaction accounts and so forth. So it's really about bringing everything together and making them feel like they can actually make some changes now that they understand what's going on.
Got it. And out of interest, just my question on the back of that, which of the sections of the client app are you finding the most popular?
Reporting. So people that are actually finding things out like that, but we're actually seeing a big engagement with the new features. We're actually building in an AI financial, not financial coach, but a cash flow coach. So her name's Sassy Susan. She's a little bit sassy. She knows your goals, and she can help you basically give advice, and AI-powered advice, to get towards your cash flow goals, increase your cash flow health. It's really cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carl. Alrighty, next up we have Indus. So Indus is an investment platform offering access to mutual funds in India, and we have founder Jay Goradia here to share more. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you, Josh. There we go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jay Goradia. I'm the founder and CEO of Indus, the only global investment platform around the world that lets you invest in Indian financial markets without needing any Indian bank accounts or IDs or any linkages to India at all. Now, you might ask me, why would I want to invest in India? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, India is the fastest growing economy in the world. Its capital markets have significantly outperformed most global competition. It is now the fourth largest economy in the world with close to 1 billion people. That's right, 1 billion under the age of 35, so that's a big workforce. And India is at the cusp of its financial revolution, in the sense where it has opened up its financial markets very recently to the rest of the world, allowing global capital to flow into India like never before. What I want to talk to you about is what we did and how we got to the point where previously you needed stacks of paperwork, a physical trip to India, and a whole bunch of accountants, to signing up with just your New Zealand driver's license and topping up using open banking directly from your New Zealand bank account. So to speak a little bit more about how the Indian mutual funds, which is our primary product, have performed against, let's say, the US markets. The Indian market in general has significantly outperformed. As you can see over here, the Nifty, which is the primary index, has returned significantly higher than the S&P. While at the same time, the mutual funds themselves in India, well, they generally say that mutual funds don't really beat the index returns, but in this case, in India, they do. So what are these mutual funds? These are professionally managed investments into different sectors, themes, or asset classes of your choosing. We list about 1,000 of these, or over 500 of these, on our platform that range from different sort of sizes of companies, large caps, mid caps, and small caps, thematics such as infrastructure, technology, growth, etc. So you can choose the asset class or the industry that you want to be invested in and leave it up to professionals to manage those actual investments for you, because we can know that India can be a very large and unknown place for most foreign investors. Previously, in order to invest, you had to do a physical trip to India. You had to create an Indian bank account. That's only if you were of Indian origin. Someone like me could go ahead and do it. You had to create something called an NRE, NRO account, and then sign up with a broker, hire an accountant in India to get your money out of India, something that's been notoriously hard. We took all of that and said, that's impossible to do. That's not how people invest in America, and that's not how we see the future of investing or global capital flowing into India looking like. So we reinvented what that system looked like from the bottom up. We went and got licensed in India. We are regulated as a financial services provider in New Zealand, and we're expanding to Australia as we speak, creating a solution that lets you directly log in a couple of minutes and start transacting using your New Zealand bank account and your New Zealand ID. So yeah, that's a little bit about how we've gone about building this. The key difference between us and status quo is that obviously we're super convenient compared to everyone else, but also our deposits and withdrawals, which generally you need to send money over to India to an Indian bank account in order to deposit or withdrawal. We use open banking connections with Akahu to take that directly from your bank account, where you can set up a systematic weekly, monthly, or fortnightly order. Take that directly from your bank account in NZD, convert your money at spot FX rates, so you get best-in-class foreign exchange rates to convert into INR, and send your orders through to the market without you doing anything at all. On top of that, in order to get money out of India, you generally need something called a remittance certificate or a tax certificate. We've automated that entire process as well using open banking in India. And essentially, you'd have to press the withdraw button. All taxes, compliance, and everything else like that in India is taken care of for you automatically. And you get your money back into your New Zealand bank account in New Zealand dollars in 3 to 5 working days. Also, the products that we offer, you could go and invest in a nifty ETF on Sharesies or another investment platform, but you wouldn't get any of the actual depth or any of the product advantages. For example, mutual funds are tax exempt because of a double tax avoidance agreement between New Zealand and India. So if you want no capital gains taxes on your Indian investments, choose mutual funds and not any other asset class. And also the amount of depth that these mutual funds have. There's about 7,000 of them across the Indian ecosystem, professionally managed by about 45 asset management companies, which are very large sort of banking institutions, and so on and so forth. So yeah, download the app, use India as your sort of wheel for growth over the next decade or so as it continues to outperform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay. I didn't realize quite how many things you had to plow your way through to set this up so seamlessly. That's amazing. Yeah. So just got a question here. What sort of investing behaviors are you seeing so far on the platform?
Yeah, so the most common way of investing, this is very common. So a majority of our customers are of Indian origin. So they're called NRIs, non-resident Indians. There's about 32 million of those globally. So a lot of these Indians, the primary way they invest is something called an SIP or a systematic investment plan. This is just dollar cost averaging or auto invest that you have. So most people that we see, instead of putting in $10,000 in at once, they put on $1,000 a week or something like that. And this is directly through using open banking connections. We can do that pass through sort of almost without them ever looking at the app again. It's almost a set and forget, and that's a very common behavior with mutual fund investments.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jay.
Thank you.
Alrighty, next up we've got PayApp. So PayApp has launched recently, and it's a product that makes it simple for merchants to accept payments via open banking. And we've got Will, the CTO at Centrapay, the company behind PayApp, here to share more. Welcome, Will.
Thank you, Josh. I'm already very humbled by your intro, but I'm going to make an even bolder statement. PayApp is Aotearoa's first omni-channel digital wallet. And that's bold in two ways, omni-channel digital wallet, but we can now tackle both with the power of open banking and what Centrapay has done, and I'll tackle them one at a time. Digital wallet is a loaded term. We all have one of these, right? Physical wallet, and we all kind of hate it, but we all have to carry it. not because we like to, but because there's actually a lot of things that even Apple Pay can't do, right? Apple Pay links to one of the cards that goes into your physical wallet. What about all the other things that have in your physical wallet? Take a look inside what I've got. I've got probably about 10 different bank cards, all for different purposes. I know my wife is in here, 2 of them are my little secret stashes. But we all have been there, trying to make a payment with a split gift card, and maybe I want a little bit of money come out of here, maybe that's a work thing, I want to come out of my work card. Nightmare. With the power of open banking, and Carl mentioned this, 80% of us have more than one bank, we can actually tokenize and link our bank account all into one app. And you can see all of your bank balances, all of your linked accounts in one place. And when you're making a purchase, you can choose whichever account that money can come out of. Or if you didn't have enough money in one account, you can split that across different accounts all in one transaction. And the second group of cards that I've got in my wallet are these pesky little coffee cards or loyalty cards. And again, right, I hate carrying these, but what I hate even more is missing out on a bloody stamp because I forgot to carry that very coffee card. Now, with the power of Pay app, you could again link all of your loyalty cards into the same app as well. And we've actually provided a native capability for merchants to issue digital coffee stamp cards. So every time when you're making that payment, your earning and your burning once you got 10 coffees is completely automated and integrated as part of that transaction. Fantastic, I can get rid of all of these. And then thirdly, I have my license. That digital license and digital identity work that the industry is doing means that one day you could see your digital driver's license taking a foothold in Pay app as well. So we really are seeing this being a full replacement for your physical wallet. And from a consumer point of view, I can now do all my loyalty, identity, and payment transactions all in one single interaction. And for merchant, that's great news, because today, I don't know about you, right? If you're a shop staff, you actually have to deal with quite a lot of different interactions in that one payment, right? I walk up to a shop, buy a pair of shoes. First thing they go, oh, have you got an account with us? I do, I have a loyalty account. What's your email, sir? And if you think about a self-respecting tech professional like myself, my email will be something like will.ai.blockchain@gmail.com. No, it's pokemonstar@hotmail.com. I created it in high school. The poor lady asked me to spell it out. And the look on her face, she was trying to hold it in and be all professional. All that could be avoided because your loyalty and your payment is now single. If it's integrated into a single transaction through one QR scan. And I didn't have to go, I want to pay $50 for my gift card. Can you put that through in your FPOS terminal first? And then here's my little secret stash, because these sneakers are really just for myself. I don't want my wife to know about them. I just need to scan the QR. My loyalty information is linked to it, and all of my payments information, however I want to split it, is all done within that single scan of the QR. And from a shop staff point of view, this is actually a great marketing tool. We have actually launched a payment, a store finder map, so every merchant can actually feature themselves on this map. And if they have a loyalty program with a coffee stamp card, they can actually make that visible in their profile. So as a consumer, I can actually see who's around me, which merchant offer which service. Before I even step out into that store, I could already be a loyal follower. So it's actually a great customer acquisition tool. And then thirdly, all of this with open banking, there is no international card schemes involved, which means super low cost for merchants at a fraction of the cost they take that they take a card transaction today, and also no fee for consumers. And in the second term, and you might go, well, that's all great. What does the omni-channel mean? Why makes Pay app so special is the fact that this is truly omni-channel. Centrapay has embedded our dynamic QR code on every FPOS, major FPOS brands in New Zealand. And that's also now starting to get into the online space with our Shopify integration. So that means every merchant, whether you're in-store or online, you could very easily enable Pay app using the same technology that you have today. And that is the power, that's the future of open banking, and that's the future of digital wallet. And that future is here today with Pay app. If you haven't got Pay app, you can scan the QR code, try it for yourself. If you have got Pay app, as a thank you, you scan that QR with your Pay app, you get $10 credit to spend at every store that supports Pay app. And if you haven't downloaded it, just find me somewhere today. I'll have that QR code ready for you to claim your money. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, a few questions here. There's one about surcharging, but I think you covered that saying no cost to the consumer, right?
Yes, correct.
So can I pay online with PayApp?
You can. So Shopify has offered an integration, and any Shopify merchant can just press a couple of buttons and enable PayApp. And if you are using your own shopping cart, it's a very simple API, and we even give you an SDK, which is a fancy word for a button that says pay with PayApp, that you can just drop onto your site. Get it live in a day.
And how do you protect people from losing it all?
Losing it all? It's used open banking security actually as, even though there's a word open, right? It's not saying open access to my bank account. For every bank connector, you still have to actually go through a whole consent process through your bank app. So for someone to actually have access to your account, they first have to have access to your whatever you do with your open bank, with your banking app, right? So the bank spends millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, even protecting access, and we're really, as an industry, open banking is leveraging all the bank-grade security features to safeguard consumers from all the applications that's built on open banking.
Got it. And the wallet protections, I assume, are similar to Apple
Correct.
and Google wallets.
Biometrics.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, next up we have Feijoa. So Feijoa uses roundups and loyalty to help people grow their KiwiSaver every day with every transaction. We've got co-founder Ben here to share more. Welcome, Ben.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Josh. Feijoa. What is Feijoa? It's the saving habit that grows on you. The problem. KiwiSaver is underserving Kiwis. We can't save and we don't save. So you guys are probably all familiar with some of these stats. A number of us feel like we're not confident on track for our retirement. Certain cohorts of people aren't being served. We've also identified the missing million. So this is a group of people who've done all the hard work to get into KiwiSaver who don't get their government contribution annually. That's a 25% on return on every dollar up to the $1,000. So meet Feijoa, we're changing the game. Roundups let people round up purchases to the nearest $1, $2 or $5. And we say KiwiSaver's going from every payday to every day, to every time you transact, to every time you touch the economy. So how does it work? You simply, all we need is your email address, and then using open banking Akahu, set up your debit card or credit card. You can raise, pause, lower your roundups, and you can share them. So for example, my wife and I, we share a bank account, credit card, 2 different KiwiSaver providers. We have a 50-50 split on our roundups. My father-in-law, he uses it. He's not even in KiwiSaver, so he does it for his 5 grandchildren, not all mine. He loves it. 20% each, dials them up, dials them down, depending on how well they're behaved. And we project your future, so you'd be amazed at some of the numbers we've got. It's pretty powerful, few cents every transaction. So we say that Elvis memorabilia, that round of beers that you didn't want to get, but you end up buying, and every coffee, every ice cream scoop, every sneaker drop. I had to ask my wife what sneaker drop was. If you can spend, you can save. And this is our beta, so we've only been live for 2 weeks. We've had our beta for about 10 weeks. Average contributions per day was $2.94, and you see that gets per year, that gets people to the government contribution. We processed about 8,500 transactions, so for 60 users, 2,700 odd KiwiSaver contributions, and we project that if those users continue to do that for 20 years in a growth fund, that'd be about 1.7 million. And that's kind of similar to, for those 60 users to share the second division in lottery. So we say, buy that lotto ticket, but have Feijoa. So future features we've got coming up, we'd like to bring in rewards, so that's rewarding loyalty for where you shop, instantly goes to your Feijoa account. Self-employed, we'll be addressing that, so that's incoming payments. We'd also like to talk in terms of rewards for that, so pseudo kind of employer contributions, cash rewards, and other user engagement activities and kind of gamification. So Feijoa helps you, helps New Zealand. We connect to all banks, all KiwiSaver providers, and we say, help yourself. So it's available now.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ben. So we've got a question here. Can you explain more around how the rewards would work?
Yep, so we're looking at a rewards accelerator program to do that. So we think people don't need the toaster in 2 years. People need retirement and people need first homes. So we think it's a great way for businesses to reward loyalty by helping people with their KiwiSaver.
Got it. And any plans to round up into non-KiwiSaver funds?
Yep, get asked this all the time. Yeah, it's there, it's built. There's, yeah, we can simply do it. It's just a kind of a case of AML for us, which we're working through.
Got it. Hey, well done on the start, and awesome to see the stats from the beta already. So thank you very much.
Cheers.
All right, last presentation now. We've got Akahu Apply. So this is a product that's used to simplify loan applications, KiwiSaver hardship applications, and other forms of financial assessment. And we have founder Ben Lynch here to share more. Welcome, Ben.
Yeah, so I'm founder, CEO of Akahu, and I've been to this conference quite a few times over the years, probably going back even 4 or 5. We've been around a while. We've been sort of waiting for open banking to come about as an industry kind of collective, and we're really excited from December this year that it kind of reaches that milestone. We're kind of a boring, hard to describe company really if you're not on the weeds. Like, we don't actually do anything that you can sort of see and play with. As you've seen today, you know, almost all of these companies use us to build their product. They are the hero in the sense, and we just simply provide the infrastructure and some of the foundational building blocks for them to work with. And so that's really exciting to see. So, you know, you might not necessarily deal with us directly, but there's, you know, 5 or 6 companies you've just heard from today. There's another 80 that we already work with. With regulations landing this December, we are already seeing a significant increase in other companies looking to work with us. You know, we've got everyone from Westpac to the next Sharesies that wants to build, you know, Sharesies in their garage sort of thing, you know. So it's really exciting as well to be able to power that innovation. We're a little bit like, I describe like a chorus versus a spark analogy, like we're a plumbing kind of company, a boring kind of piece of infrastructure. Like, there's no sense in having 2 chorus providers or 2 electricity grids sort of thing. You know, all the stuff that happens, that the customer sees, happens on top of that. And so that's what we provide. We generally, as I said, don't provide services directly, but there is one service we do, or product we have built, which is called Akahu Apply, as Josh said. It is a service that allows loan advisors, mortgage brokers, personal loans, increasingly working with KiwiSaver fund managers to process hardship applications. And so what that means is we allow, say, a broker, Ben, you want to go and get a mortgage, you go to your broker that says, that's great, produce your bank statements or connect your account data. And so we take all that data. We can either work with PDFs, kind of meet the industry where it is still, you know, 1990s, 1980s kind of tech, or increasingly will happen with an open banking connection flow. So as you've seen today, we can connect into all the banks, retrieve all that data, and then I guess the differentiator that we provide is the ability to provide insights on top of that transactional data. So whether it's being used for personal finance like SortMe and Carl showed, or whether it's, you know, Westpac showing it to their customers in a kind of a retail perspective, or whether it's, you know, Nick with Prosaic in a kind of business perspective, is this, you know, how does this equate for like tax purposes? How would the IRD treat it? We provide all that foundational layer without ever being specific on a product, but so then you can build your product on top of that for your particular use case. So in the Akahu Apply sense, it's a really simple way for an advisor to very quickly understand sort of income expense breakdown. You told me you get paid this much salary. Can we confirm that in your bank statements? And then obviously those are kind of wrapped up and then sent on to a bank or some other non-bank for a loan to be reviewed and hopefully approved. And so it allows companies like Avanti use us, NZH Home Loans, and all sorts of independent mortgage brokers, essentially to automate a lot of that fact finding. Traditionally, there's even people going through with a ruler trying to meet those triple CFA requirements, but we can essentially do that via one connection, throw it all together, and then you can really quickly get on to adding value to your client instead of figuring out whether they have too many Netflix or Spotify subscriptions or spend too much at some arbitrary merchant sort of thing. So unfortunately, I can't demo that today, but we can certainly set up any trial accounts. Alternatively, you may very well use our service through someone like SortMe if you're an advisor, or through bookkeepers through Prosaic and other services. So really excited for the 12 months ahead. As I said, I think there's 80 or so companies that use us now, but I think if we came back this time next year, which we will hopefully be invited back, there will be probably 180, if not more. So it's a really interesting space. And on top of open banking, and a couple of our companies sort of talked about AI, I think it's been talked about for sort of innovation and disruption in the sector for a long time, but I think there's a kind of the pieces in place now to truly for that to happen in the next 12 months. Thanks.
Very nice product demo there on the screen. So what portion of loan applications are using open banking versus manual PDF upload?
Yeah, so what we see at the moment is probably still, like, as much as I hate PDFs and people emailing them around and stuff, they still exist, and they probably still will exist for a long time. So there's probably about 30% of our current customers that use Akahu Apply would continue to upload PDFs manually. Now, that's whether the broker's uploading it because the client sent them to them, or whether the client uploads them directly. But increasingly, I think we'll get up to the 90+% once open banking live goes proper with the big four banks, and then Kiwibank next year. And that's just a much more simple way for both the broker, for the client. It's much more secure. It can't be tampered with. There's increasingly a lot of bank statements and other documents being tampered with via. It's pretty easy to create a new PDF with a salary of $1 million in ChatGPT sort of thing now. So it's getting increasingly hard to stop that. And so we expect that upwards of 90+% will come through open banking connected channels where it's simpler, it's easier, and and I said it's more secure and more and trustworthy.
Is open health data next, and like sharing between public services and private health insurers would be a game changer? So maybe even broader than that, like what is coming next for data sharing?
As I said, I've been in this space a long time. I used to be at Xero in the bank feeds team. I sort of started this in 2013. The banking industry is slow to adopt and slow to do things, and we're getting there, as I said. I would imagine the health industry would take a lot longer to get all those pieces into place. I just can't see something in the next 10 years even being in that space. I think there'll be pieces of it. The government signalled electricity is the next under the sort of consumer data right regime, so that's probably pretty easy to do. And then after that, I think you'll see general insurance fall in. But I think health, for a number of reasons, is far too complex and probably far too many privacy concerns as well to actually take adoption across the market.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.